Welcome back to Celestia Astrology. My name's Sonia and I'm recording this AstroMindfulness exercise at the time of the solar annual eclipse in Libra at 21 degrees. And this eclipse is conjunct with the South Node, and I'll be explaining what that means for us. And particularly the main thing to understand at this time is that people do get worried and troubled that astrologers are saying it's a time of chaos, and it can be a time of some endings and beginnings, but essentially we're put back on the path that we're meant to be on. So if our lives have strayed from where we're meant to be, where our astrological chart has led us to what our natal promise is showing for us, quite often there can be course corrections here. And so new energy comes in with the North Node and energy can leave with the South Node. So essentially what we see at this time is sometimes there can be like larger than life events, larger than usual, bigger energy than usual. And it isn't always just an eclipse season. Eclipse season will last now until the 28th of October, I believe. And it isn't always just within these couple of weeks, but events are seeded now that we may see unfold over the next 3 months, 6 months, or even longer, depending on where it falls in your chart. Eclipses are considered significant cosmic events. They often herald these times of profound change and transformation, and it was noticed, particularly if you think of the eclipse, the sun, which gives us light and is so reliable every day, rising and setting, that suddenly the moon would come and completely cover the sun, and that was such a rare event. And then the ancients noticed that these significant events on Earth would start happening around this time, and so they started to document them and understand what would happen. The adage, as above so below, and as the luminary is switched off and then on again, so events on Earth were also reset, switched off and on again. So there would be these significant endings and beginnings. And that's what we see in our own lives, and we may see it on the larger world stage as well. So this particular eclipse has the significance of being a South Node eclipse, which is usually associated with endings, energy leaving our chart, and it occurs at the exaltation degree of Saturn, which is a maturing energy of lessons and structure, and it's in Libra. And also eclipses come in pairs, so we're not only going to have this eclipse now, we're going to have another one in 2 weeks, which is a North Node eclipse of energy coming in. Will be energy coming into Taurus, and it will also be the final eclipse in a 2.5-year series of eclipses that have occurred in Taurus and Scorpio. And this eclipse that we're seeing now in Libra is the first of a 2-year series of eclipses across the Libra and Aries axis. So if you are a Libra, Capricorn, Aries or Cancer sign, or you've got planets in those places, these eclipses are likely to be more impactful for you. They're going to hold more changes in those areas of your chart. And also these are cardinal signs. They're signs that are associated with initiating and starting things and getting out in the world and making material actions concrete. And so the South Node eclipses are often seen as these powerful events that bring forth karmic lessons as well. So it's not only the material things we see in the world, but it's also what we're learning for ourselves, what we're supposed to be learning, how that compares with where we are on our path. And sometimes it's therefore necessary to release old patterns where we've been clinging to things that are no longer suiting us, and where we should be with our karma and what we're supposed to be learning. So sometimes we're shown at this time what we need to release, and sometimes things may leave us, things may end, that can be painful, and I have compassion for anybody going through this time that has a painful release. And we do hold you in that space, but also set it in this larger context of the astrology of what's happening as well. And sometimes I find that helpful when things are difficult and challenging, to look and understand that this is what's going on in the sky as well. And sometimes that can bring some understanding and some fate. We talk a lot in astrology about fate and free will, and it's an ongoing debate, particularly at the time of eclipses. I think our free will gets eclipsed. It is more fate. We see the hand of fate more. And so this eclipse at 21 degrees of Libra signifies this time for reconsidering matters. The themes are related to balance, relationships and justice, which are the themes of Libra. It's very much about the darkness and the light at this time of the turning point of the year. We're looking at the autumn when darkness returns, the dark nights close in. And also I mentioned before that this is at the exaltation degree of Saturn in Libra, and this adds an extra layer of importance, signifying the need for structure, responsibility, and a careful commitment, like re-examination of our commitments and our boundaries. And you may find that this is being shown to you in the events that are happening around this time. So really what we need to do is just surrender to the events, but also an awareness of what's happening around us, maybe journal or diary what's happening, because sometimes we don't always see the significance when we're in the moment, but when you look back in a couple of months you can see that something started now, and you can see how that fits that pattern that we don't always see while we're in the present moment. And also looking at the chart of the eclipse, it forms aspects with other bodies as the astrology always does, and this adds layers of complexity to the astrological significance. Mercury is there, present with the eclipse, with the sun and the moon, and Mercury is challenged at the moment with his placement, and significantly he can't see his ruler Venus, who is also challenged in Virgo, but there's a nice mutual reception between them, and for us this means that they're working together, but in ways that are less conventional, unusual. We may not be aware of how they're working together, but they kind of find a way to resolve things. But it's not the usual channels, it's not what we usually expect. With Libra being involved in communication and it being like direct and diplomatic, but with Mercury and Venus so challenged, we may find, especially with Saturn asking us to find structure and maturity in this, we may find that this doesn't come so naturally and easily as it would normally. But also look for that mutual support, and look for the unusual ways to resolve things, because they are there and the support is there. And together all of this contributes to the intensity and the potential for transformation during this event. So if you're ready, we'll begin the AstroMindfulness exercise, and I would invite you to just settle into the present moment and settle into where you're sitting or lying. Just make sure you're comfortable. If you're sitting, that your back is straight but not arched. And just bring yourself gently to the present moment. You may wish to close your eyes or just let your gaze rest gently downwards and maybe stare at a fixed point. And just become aware of your breathing. Bring your attention to your breathing. You don't need to alter it in any way now. Just follow the path of the air as it enters your body and the breath moves through your body. Do you pause? Do you feel the energy as the air is in your body? And then you release it. Maybe you breathe in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Can you imagine that breath travelling all the way through your body, all the way down to your feet? As you breathe in, sense that air just travelling right down to your feet. And then can you imagine it travelling out of your feet and into the earth? Through your feet and down into the earth that supports us through all of our lives. It nurtures us, it provides us with food, a place to live. But the earth holds so many memories of generations that have lived here before us. And so you're breathing in that energy from the air and sending it down into the earth. It's anchoring you deep, almost, you could imagine like vine leaves or ivy or roots of a tree. And with every breath in, you're sending that energy and air down deeper and deeper. And now as you breathe in, imagine the Earth's energy rising back up to meet you, rising up through these roots, filling your body with stability and grounding. And so you're becoming one with the Earth. You've created a circuit of breathing in and breathing out. Just stay for a moment enjoying that energy, travelling down into the Earth and back up, as the Earth responds to you and connects with you. And then as you keep your attention on your breathing, and don't worry if your thoughts wander, because thoughts will do that. And in mindfulness, we just bring our attention gently back to my voice, gently back to what we're visualizing. Don't worry that they've wandered. Now just imagine yourself somewhere out in nature, wherever you feel comfortable. You're out in nature on the day of the solar eclipse. You know that you mustn't look at the sun, but you can see the light around you. You're enjoying sitting in the lightness. You're just going to sit and meditate and prepare for the eclipse. And you start to feel and see the shadow of the darkness as the moon starts to travel between the Earth and the sun. And it begins to create a shadow that slowly creeps across the Earth. Visualize yourself sitting in nature and watching this shadow slowly creep across the Earth. How does it feel to see this shadow start to creep towards you? Knowing that the sun will be fully extinguished in a moment. As you sit and breathe and surrender to this eclipse event, can you feel the energies of balance, harmony and justice that Libra represents? Can you see the themes of light and darkness being played out as the shadow creeps across the landscape? And you wait for the darkness to fall as the light of the sun is totally eclipsed. And as you breathe, that moment arrives and darkness falls. The birds fall silent. Even the wind stops. It's like the whole world is holding its breath. The sun has gone out. There's darkness around us. There's no electricity here. There's no modern conveniences to distract you. There's only you in nature, sitting in the darkness. What can you see now? Can you feel the transformative power of the eclipse's energy surrounding you? Can you feel yourself held as though you're in a cocoon of change and growth, waiting to emerge? Keep breathing. As the darkness remains, we reflect on some of the themes that this eclipse raises for us. There's nothing to do with an eclipse other than draw our own reflections and surrender. So we look at the themes that the mutual reception between Mercury and Venus brings up. Maybe they're talking about themes of self-care, healing, communication and understanding. As you breathe in the energy of the eclipse, maybe these themes will impact you. Maybe events in your life have brought up these themes recently. Consider if there's anything happening now or anything that does happen in the next few weeks that will affect these themes and whether you need to respond differently. Visualize the energy of self-care surrounding you, enveloping you. While you're in this cocoon of change and transformation, your mind is nurtured, your body and spirit. You're safe here. There's nothing to do, there's nowhere to be, there's nowhere to go. You're sitting in darkness. The light of the sun has gone. Feel these healing energies soothing and reviving you. There's light within you. There's the spark of life within you. You have what you need while we wait for the sun to return. Let it bring light to those areas within you that need healing or need your attention. And as you sit in the darkness, bring to mind the power of clear and open communication. Remember how it fosters understanding and connection in your relationships. How has it felt when clear, direct communication has helped a situation? Or when confused communication has made a situation worse? Can you reflect on how you contribute to making things clearer or making things more confused? See if you get any insights around this time. See if anything is being shown to you that needs to be released now. And welcome the release. This isn't a time to resist anything that we're asked to surrender. It's a time to embrace these themes as essential components of our growth and transformation. As we sit in nature, in the darkness, waiting for the sun to return, we continue to meditate and think about the themes of transformation. We think about how, in order to transform, sometimes it's necessary to surrender, to release these old patterns in order to make way for new patterns, to create new energy. Nothing's going to change if everything stays the same. So the first step is that release of something old, and how we want to create balance and harmony. Even if you don't know yet what these patterns will be or what they are, can you picture yourself now in the cocoon, ready to emerge and ready to shed the old limiting patterns? Are you ready to shed them in nature where you are, when the sun returns and walk into a different life, a new life? Are you ready to see what the eclipse is showing you? Do you feel ready to surrender to the transformative energy of the eclipse? Do you feel ready to allow it to guide you to a new, balanced state? As you sit in the darkness, can you picture a perfect equilibrium between lightness and dark? As the eclipse symbolises the dance of opposing forces. As the seasons change and the wheel of the year moves on, we always see this move between lightness and dark. And this eclipse most vividly illustrates that for us. What does this mean in your life? And now suddenly you see a little bit of sun. A little bit of light starts to appear. The energies of Libra enveloping you, offering equilibrium in your life. Do you feel your heart lift a little bit? Breathe in this vision of you that you've created while you're in the cocoon. And as you see this light and the moon starts to move away from the sun, and the shadows starts to recede, and the light returns gradually, slowly, and at the same time you are emerging from this cocoon with a new understanding of yourself. You sit and wait until the sun and the light is fully returned, breathing in this energy of who you are. You can't see the full picture yet, you don't know fully what has changed, but you know that you've welcomed it in. You know that you're ready for this, and you can do this. Breathe that in. And when you're ready and the lightness has returned to the meadow, visualize yourself getting up and walking away, leaving the cocoon and the place where you sat meditating behind you, ready to walk in the sunlight. And now it's time for us to return to, and so we slowly bring our awareness back to the present moment. Bring our awareness back to your body, grounded to the earth. You might wish to stretch out your hands and move your fingers. Stretch your legs and your toes and break that connection with the earth. When you feel ready, open your eyes. If you wish, if you've had any insights that have arisen during this exercise, you might wish to record them and write them down somewhere so that you can look back on them. I find that quite useful to look back on times of other eclipses. I hope you found this AstroMindfulness exercise helpful. Thank you for joining me. If you're enjoying my work, then my client list is currently open for new clients for astrology readings and for astro coaching. So if you'd like to book, you can find me at my website celestiaastrology.com. I also offer a free 15-minute consultation, so if you have questions we can meet and chat together and we can work out if I'm the right astrologer for you, and you can also have your questions answered about how astrology or astro coaching, and I also offer mindfulness coaching, can work for you and can find more meaning in your life through this coaching and through astrology readings. So I look forward to chatting to you and working with you. Thank you.